Hello everyone, welcome back to my video. It's been a long time since I last did my video on the sand, about 2 months ago. So today I'll be touching on Narra residence. It is located in Dairy Farm area. If let's say you're aware that in Dairy Farm area, you must have heard about, they have a lot of new launches over there in the last few years, because that area really have a lot of activities going on, have a lot of government land sale. It first started off as a Dairy Farm residences, then after that you have Botany at Dairy Farm, and now you have Narra residence. It's the third new launches in the area already. So for Narra residence, it is actually developed by a consortium of different developers, by Santari Realty, by Apex Asia Development. So now let's dive into Narra residence. So some disclaimer here, the information that I'll be presenting in this video is just solely for your reference, and it's just purely based on my own research. So what to expect? So I'll be walking through some of the project information, the location and site plan, and then I'll be touching on some of the common question, right? Because if you say you're aware, a lot of people, they have been saying that, wow, Dairy Farm area, the condo cannot buy one. The profit also not much. Can make money meh? So I will be touching on some of the key concerns, right, from some of the public out there. So I will be touching on Dairy Farm newer condos don't make much profit lah. So can buy or not? So I'll be also touching on, if let's say you are seriously considering Narra residence today, how do you actually determine what is a safe exit plan 4 years later? And also I'll be walking through the different type of layout, the 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, all the way to 5 bedroom. Which one is the best layout and how are they comparing to the surrounding development like Dairy Farm residences and Botany? Come, let's start. So this is just my QR code. If let's say you would like to connect with me over WhatsApp, do take your phone and scan on this QR code, and it will actually bring you to WhatsApp directly, and then you can actually drop me a message if you have any question. Okay, some project information. Narra residence, it is actually located at Dairy Farm area, Dairy Farm Walk. Total number of units is 540 units. So I would say the development size is considered a mid-size lah. Very similar to Dairy Farm residence, very similar to Botany as well. So you will not find, this development is too small of a development compared to the surrounding condo. And something to take note is that for this development, they actually have provision a few shops. So they actually provision about 4 shops at the level 1 area. So this is something new. Next, I move on to the location map. It's a bit blur, but you can actually see that Narra residence is located here. Opposite Narra residence is actually Dairy Farm residences. It's just directly opposite. Right here is Botany at Dairy Farm. Narra residence is located right across Dairy Farm residence. So this is the actual location. Okay, in terms of the unit mix, I would say that developer, they actually provision a lot on the 2 bedroom and 3 bedroom. The smaller size we have is 1 plus study, which I only have 3 units. So you can see if I break it down, out of the 540 units in terms of the percentage, you can see that 1 plus study is only 0.5%. So if let's say you are really looking at 1 plus study, I would suggest, probably need to work on your budget to see whether, if you can go up to a 2 bed 1 bath. So majority, about half of the unit mix are 2 bedder. Then I have 34% in my 3 bedder, 11% in my 4 bedder, and lastly, they have a 5 bedder as well, about 4.8%. In terms of the site plan, let me orientate you. This site is the Dairy Farm residence, and above Dairy Farm residence, this side is the Botany at Dairy Farm. I just put BAD in short lah. So the main entrance, this is Petir Road as you drive in here. So this is the main entrance. So as you come in, if you can see that it has a full condo facility. So I will not walk through each and every facility here. They have a full-size tennis court. I'm seeing a good size swimming pool as well. They have 2 swimming pool. And just now I mentioned that in this development they have 4 shops, right? Where are they located? They are located right here. Next, I will move on. So right now, let's look at one of the key concerns that I've gathered on the ground from a lot of people is that they look at, the Dairy Farm area, the newer condos don't make much profit in the last 2 years. Is Narra residence able to make any profit in the next 5 years? And the newer condo don't make much profit. I'm referring to Dairy Farm residences and Midwood. So if you were to ask me, if I look at the profit that the owner is making as compared to other new launches, which I shall not name, it's not in an area, it's in a Clementi area. Yes, there is some disparity in terms of the profit made. And then I actually go and dig into it and see, actually why Dairy Farm area, generally don't make much profit. Is it because there's no demand in the area? Nobody want to buy there? Nobody want to live in Dairy Farm area? So stay tuned, I will touch on this right now. So right now, let's look at how much profit did the last few new launches actually made in Dairy Farm area. So if you look at, in 2023, we have 2 condos TOP, Midwood and Dairy Farm residences. If you see Midwood, if I look at their 1 bedroom, 84,000, it's a bit low. not too great. Their 2-bedder is 229,000, which I say is not bad. It's not bad to see this kind of profit really. And these are average profits. So there are actually sellers who actually gain a much higher profit compared to this. And their 3-bedroom, 287,000, I would say okay, this is decent enough. Their 4-bedroom is 358,000. If I look at dairy farm residences, their 2-bedroom, 123,000 is really on the lower side. Their 3-bedroom is 271,000, and surprisingly, their 4-bedroom make about $500,000 profit. So we can actually see that, dairy farm residences, their 4-bedroom actually outperform Midwood, although Midwood is actually closer to the MRT station. Let's take a look why. So if you look at the location where dairy farm residences in particular, where are they located, right? In the area they are located, actually the surrounding are usually HDB, right? So if you see most of the buyers, they mainly come from HDB. So if we talk about the supply demand side, a very strong demand is actually coming from the HDB. Let's take a look, right? What actually happened in the last 5 years when dairy farm was launched? So which means that from 2020 to 2025. So if you look at the demand from HDB owners from 2020 to 2031, if you look at the whole spectrum from 2020 to 2031, you can actually see that from 2020 to 2022, I still have about quite a decent of HDB MOP. So how to read this chart is that in 2020, I will have 862 units MOP in Bukit Panjang. BP means Bukit Panjang. In 2021, I have about 5,484 units MOP in Choa Chu Kang. So if I look at the last 5 years, if I add up Choa Chu Kang and Bukit Panjang, of course I don't have Tengah, they haven't MOP yet. In my total number of MOP units are 9,600 plus. And if you see in the next 5 years, 2026 to 2031, you can see that the majority of the supply of HDB MOP are coming from Tengah. They have about close to 17,000 of HDB MOP. And if I add up all these numbers, including Choa Chu Kang and Bukit Panjang HDB MOP, I will have 20,000. It's close to 21,000. You can actually see that the demand from HDB owners is actually falls in the next 5 years. All the way from, I would say particularly 2028 onwards, you will start to see actually there is a lot of HDB that's going to MOP, particularly in Tengah. So you can see that the demand is 3 times more compared to 2020 to 2025. And this is actually very important. Why? Because if you see, for dairy farm residents and Midwood, they actually TOP in 2023, where the demand is on the lower side, which is about 9,600 units only. And of course, not everybody will upgrade to condo, and also not everybody will sell. So they TOP at a time where the HDB MOP is on the lower side. What I'm seeing is that in the next 5 years, 2028 to 2031, I will have a lot of demand coming from Tengah, because Tengah is a new town. And today, if you look at Tengah, that area, majority is still HDB. They don't have a lot of supply yet of condo. You have ECs there like Copen Grand, but they won't be MOP before Narra residents can sell. So that's the thing. If you talk about not every HDB owners will actually upgrade to condo, then the question is that what is the percentage of the buyers from HDB they will upgrade to condo? So I actually did a quick calculation on that. Next, if you look at the percentage of the people who will upgrade to private property, if I look at District 23, I'm referring to Choa Chu Kang, Bukit Panjang area and Dairy Farm area. If I look at the number of 2-bedder and 3-bedder transaction in the last 1 year, I have about 829 in volume, but the HDB side, I'm looking at 3-room flat, 4-room flat and 5-room flat. Mainly because majority of the buyers who upgrade from HDB to condo mainly come from this few unit type. So in total, for the last 1 year, I have 2,856 in volume. So if I were to do a ratio, I have about 29% of the buyers actually upgraded from HDB to private property in District 23. So why I actually have this ratio is that later on, I'll be using this ratio to estimate the number of buyers who will actually upgrade from Tengah when they MOP and go and buy dairy farm area. Then the next thing, if we look at the demand already, then if we look at what is the absorption rate in the last 5 years, 2020 to 2025, because nearby I will also have ECs that has MOP. So if I were to look at, for example, So Acres, total 1327 units development, but I only count their 2-bedder and 3-bedder, which is about 993 units. So the reason why I look at 2-bedder and 3-bedder is because, for HDB buyers, I would say most of them, when they want to move to condo, they will usually consider a 2-bedder and a 3-bedder, right? Although there's some minority of the HDB buyers will consider a 4-bedder, but I would say majority will still consider a 2-bedder and a 3-bedder. So if you look at So Acres, if I look at Inns, I look at Midwood, I look at Dairy Farm, right? So these are the number of ECs and condos MOP, that is available in the market for buyers to buy in the last 2 years. So if you see total, if I add up the units for 2 bedder and 3 bedder, I have 2,100 units. Then if you look at the demand from HDB is about 208,211 units, assuming this 29% of the ratio that will upgrade from HDB to condo. And I divide by the number of units, a 2 bedder and 3 bedder in this area. So if I look at the absorption rate, it's about 1.3 ratio. So what does it mean? Is that almost for every unit, the buyer don't have competition. That is what it means. So when there's no competition, means buyer they can choose. I can see that then this actually explains why dairy farm residents and Midwood area, in terms of today, if you look at the number of resale listings available in the market, a lot of agents, they will tell you that the listing is very slow to move. The demand is very slow because I can actually see that the absorption rate is only 1.3. So there's not even a good competition for a seller to sell a higher price. Then what about the next 5 years when Tengah actually come into the picture? So when Tengah come into the picture, I also have condos that's going to TOP, right? So if I look at Arden, Hill Haven, Botany and Dairy Farm, I will have the Mist, I will have Narra Residence, I will have Dairy Farm Walk. This is the new GLS land that has not been opened yet. They will open maybe next year. So if I add up all these 2 bedder and 3 bedder, of course the new GLS I cannot estimate but the total number of units is about 480 But how I actually estimate is based on Narra Residence, the unit mix for their 2 and 3 bedder is about 83% ratio. So I just give a good estimate, maybe about 398 units, 2 bedder and 3 bedder. So total I'll have 1,777 units available for the buyers to buy. So if I look at again the demand from HDB, including Tengah already, assuming a 29% of the people will upgrade from HDB to private property, that means total I'll have 6,000 of buyers that is coming in, right? 6,000 buyers to absorb 1,777 units. That means the absorption rate is about 3.4 for every unit. Meaning to say for every unit, I should be able to see like there's competition already. Meaning to say I should have every 3 buyers is actually fighting for 1 unit. So that is the reason the absorption rate is actually very high for the next 5 years. It's 3.4. So I think that is also the reason why the government is actually constantly selling land in dairy farm area. Is because they really want to meet the upcoming demand that is coming in from Tengah. So I actually believe that when Narra residents, if they TOP in 2030, that is where the demand actually pick up already in the Tengah area. So I think the whole situation in the next 5 years when Narra residents, the buyer is able to sell, I can actually see that the demand should pick up and we should see a good demand that is coming into the dairy farm area. So the next thing is, if let's say today you are interested in Narra residents, then how do we determine a safe exit plan in the next 4 years? Meaning to say, what is the kind of price that I can exit if I enter Narra residence? Since we know that majority of the buyer are HDB owners, right? There's one very important factor that I always pay attention to, which is the affordability gap. Whether or not when they sell away their HDB, can they afford the calling price of the unit or not? So if I look at how much is the average profit of a BTO owners, they can exit at MOP, right? So if I take one example, Keat Hong Colours, this one is actually located in the Choa Chu Kang area. So Keat Hong Colours, if you see the BTO price, BTO price back then in 2013, I would say a 4-room flat is about 230 to 291k. A 5-room flat is 298 to 376. And today, if you look at the resale market, a 4-room flat, they can fetch an average of about 616,000 on average. A 5-room flat can fetch about 720,000 in the market. So which means that, right, the average profit, if I just look at the price that the buyer buy at BTO and sell, I'm looking at 366,000 for a 4-room flat, and for a 5-room flat is 370,000. If I assume that a 4-room flat, the buyer actually entered at 250,000. No, I'm not taking the lowest. I'm taking somewhere in the middle. And similarly for a 5-room flat also, if I assume at 350,000, which means that for average profit, a BTO owners can actually earn is about 366,000, right, at the point where they exit. So if I were to use that to estimate my future selling price for Tengah HDB owners, so for Tengah HDB owners, if you see, if I just use one project to estimate the Plantation Verge, if you see their 4-room flat, their BTO price is 350,000 to 440,000. So if I assume the average BTO price, if I take medium 400,000, the average selling price maybe by then is about 770,000. If we look at their monthly installment, right, for a BTO owners usually is about 1361, assuming if they take a 300,000 loan, which is about 75%. So 1361, if I assume that both couple at the point where they buy a BTO, their combined income is about 10,000, and these are usually the average income that I see nowadays already for a young couple who really want to buy a BTO. So that means their combined OA contribution is about $2,300 per month, which means that every month after they pay off the money installment, their CPF should have a surplus. If I add up the surplus for 5 years, I should see for both of them, for a couple should have about 56,000 at the end of 5 years sitting in their CPF. And if I see that, if let's say the 5 years later, the Tengah BTO can sell at 770 are minus off the outstanding loan at the point where they sell, that means the cash and CPF they should be expecting is about 515,000. So this 515,000, if I add the CPF surplus, that means the total funds is about 571,000 averagely for a couple. So if let's say and these 5 years, I would say most of the people they will have savings one. So if I assume that each person save about $500 every month, and that is not a lot. So if let's say each person save about $500 and 2 person save about 1,000, that means the total funds after 5 years, I should have addition 60,000 savings. If I add it in, that means in total I will have 631,000 of total funds for the buyer to actually upgrade to private property. If I look at the Narra residences today's selling price, the indicative price, I just look at 3-bedder. 3-bedder developer price is 1.6xx. If you are planning to enter Narra residence today 3-bedroom at 1.6, I will say maybe 1.65, I don't know. If I assume 1.65 million, that means the Tengah HDB owners, they can actually afford their max affordability, right? Without taking out additional savings, is about 2 million to 2.2 million. Which means that next time if they buy a $2 million condo or 2.2 million, they should be able to afford after they sell away their BTO. So let me break it down. If you see at 2 million, right, assuming 25% down payment and plus the buyer stamp duty, total I will need about 569,600. Where just now we have already worked out the sums. If let's say they have no savings, after they sell away their house, they should have total funds of about 571,000. So it should be enough. The funds will be enough to cover for the down payment plus buyer stamp duty. If next time if the resale value of Narra residences is at 2 million. If let's say it's at 2.2 million and with a couple of $500 savings, they also can afford. So it's about 635,600 for the total down payment for a 2.2 million house next time. Which means that next time, if let's say for Narra residence, if let's say the exit price, if you call for 2 million, 2.1 million, most of the Tengah BTO buyers, after they exit, they should be able to accept and they should be able to afford this price range at 2 million to 2.2 million. That is really how I actually look at what is the exit plan, right? Is that, if you were to ask me anything that is more than 2.2 million, then majority of them, after they sell off their HDB, their funds cannot actually cover for the down payment. And this is usually the problem that I see is that if let's say majority of the buyers are from HDB and after they sell off their HDB, they don't have enough to cover for the funds, then that is where, a lot of condos, their price will become stagnant. And knowing this maximum affordability for the HDB buyers is actually important, because if you know that the buyers can actually afford up to 2.2 million, that means next time if you talk about worst case scenario, so whether or not I can exit at 1.9 million, I will say should be quite safe because the buyers can actually afford. At 2 million, I would say it is also quite safe. 2.1, 2.2, I would say it is still quite safe. But anything more than 2.2, I would say that maybe not really. So this is what I mean. If let's say at this point of the video, if you have any question that you want to ask me, if you want me to actually help you analyze, how about a 4-bedroom or a 5-bedroom, you can actually drop me a message and then I see actually how I can actually help you from there. So we are going to go into the floor plan analysis. Let's look at 1-bedroom first. So for 1-bedroom, very simple. They only have one type and they only have 3 units. The 3 units are all located at ground floor. So if I look at the 1-bedroom 517 square feet, if you see this is the main door, quite a typical layout. They have an open concept kitchen, then they have a portrait, living and dining, then they have a PS that can go out. So this is a patio unit and they have a master room, right? And they have a study. So very typical layout of a 1+ study. In terms of the stack, where are they located? They are located at facing the drop-off point for stack 30. They also have pool view facing. So for 1-bedroom, they only have 3 units and these 3 units are all located at ground floor. And the next thing, I'm going to talk about 2-bedroom, 1 bath. So for 2-bedroom, 1 bath, they have one type of layout, also quite typical. 560 square feet. You come in from the main door, you have an open concept kitchen, you have a living and dining. Then it's a dumbbell layout, where the 2 bedrooms are located at each end. So if you look at the bedroom size, bedroom 2 is about 9 square meter. It is actually comfortable enough to fit a queen size bed. Master bedroom is about 11 square meter, so their master are pretty big, I must say. If let's say you are considering a 2-bed 1 bath, it is actually located facing the dairy farm residences. So the next thing is that, if you look at the 2-bed 1 bath next time in the resale market, how does Narra residences 2-bed 1 bath fare with the rest? So if I were to compare Narra residence, how is the floor plan, how is the layout compared to the rest, like Botany at Dairy Farm, like Dairy Farm Residences. Is Narra Residence floor plan good enough or not? So let's see, if I were to compare side by side Narra Residence and Dairy Farm Residence, I would say that Dairy Farm Residence is 624 square feet, but 624 square feet include aircon ledge. If I look at the size, the living room is 23 square meter, Dairy Farm Residence is 23.4. So I would say a difference of 0.4, you will not be able to tell the difference one. So these two is actually the same size. Balcony wise, Dairy Farm Residence is slightly bigger, 5.6 square meter, Narra is 4, so this one is slightly bigger. If you look at the WC, Dairy Farm Residence is 5 square meter, Narra Residence is 5 square meter, so both are the same size. The common bedroom, Dairy Farm is 9.4, Narra is 9. So difference of 0.4, you also cannot tell the difference one. So these two is about the same. Master bedroom also about the same, 11 square meter and 11.1. So you can actually see that for Narra Residence and Dairy Farm Residence, the difference I would say is not big, it's almost the same. But how about if you compare Narra and Botany and Dairy Farm? Botany and Dairy Farm also a harmonized project. 2 bed 1 bath, 603 square feet. I don't have the area for living, dining and bedroom. I don't have the breakdown. But if I just look at generally, if I look at the layout, can actually see that Botany and Dairy Farm, they are 2 bed 1 bath. Something that is different is that they have an enclosed kitchen. They have a tuck-in kitchen, which you can actually install a door here, right? I would say this is the main difference. So for Botanic and Dairy Farm, they have a tuck-in kitchen, which I think is pretty nice. So in terms of the 2 bed 1 bath layout, I would say Narra Residence, is as good as Dairy Farm Residence, but just that, for Botanic and Dairy Farm, they have a tuck-in kitchen, which is slightly better. So the next thing, I'm looking at 2 bed 2 bath. So for 2 bed 2 bath, they have many different types. 2 bed 2 bath, 646 square feet, also a dumbbell layout. As you come in from the main door, you have a tuck-in kitchen, which is nice enough. Then you have dumbbell layout, bedroom 2 and master bedroom, and you have 2 bathroom, right? And the 2 bathroom don't have a window, which I think is very common nowadays. Then the other type of 2 bed 2 bath is they comes with a household shelter, 689 square feet. So 689 square feet compared to the 2 bed 2 bath without household shelter. If I were to do a breakdown of the living room is 21 square meter and 22 square meter. Difference of 1 square meter, I would say not much of a difference lah. Kitchen wise, 5 square meter and 5 square meter, about the same. Master bath 5 square meter, also about the same. Bathroom 2 also about the same. Bedroom 2 all the same. Master bedroom 11 square meter, also the same. Balcony also the same. So the difference is it goes to the storeroom, about 3 square meter. This is really the difference. So if let's say you really are buying for own stay and you really need a household shelter, then this 689 square feet will really suits you and it doesn't compromise on all the living space. Then the other type of layout, B4H, is also the same layout. I don't see any difference between this layout and B3H. Another type is B5H. So B5H is 700 square feet. If I were to see the living room, 22 square meter, 23 square meter, difference of 1 square meter, don't make too much of a difference. The master, 11 square meter and 12 square meter. This one is slightly bigger by 1 square meter. I don't think you can tell any difference if let's say it's just 1 square meter. Bedroom 2, 9 square meter, also about the same. Master bath, 5 square meter. Bath 2, 4 square. Also about the same. Kitchen size, 5 square meter, 4 square meter. This one slightly bigger. Household shelter the same. So if you were to ask me, the difference in the size, I think it goes to the master bedroom. It's just a bit lah. So I think 689 and 700 square feet is not too much of a difference also. It's just that for this B5H layout, it's more of a traditional layout lah. So it really depends on whether you're a person who like a traditional layout or a dumbbell layout. But to me, I would say that most buyers in today's market, they have no preference. So usually for 2 bed 2 bath buyers, I realize price point is very important because a lot of them, they are buying for investment. If not, you are just selling to buyers who are singles or to a young couple who are buying for own stay. The other type, B6H, is also about the same. I don't see any big difference compared to B5H. So for my 2 bed 2 bath, I feel that the best layout is the 2 bed 2 bath with household shelter, the B4H, 689 square feet. So how does this fare with Dairy Farm Residence and Botany and Dairy Farm? If I were to put 2 floor plans side by side, you can actually see that for Narra Residence, their living and kitchen is 22 square meter plus 5. So total I have 27 square meter. Dairy Farm Residence, their living and kitchen is 24.8. So Narra Residence, obviously it is bigger in their living space. Bathroom 2, this is 4, this is 5, this is bigger. Household shelter, they don't have. Dairy Farm Residence don't have a household shelter. Master bath, 5 square meter, 5.4. This is bigger. Master bedroom 11 square meter, this is 11.8. So this is 0.8 square meter difference. So I think balcony space, this is 5 square meter, this is 5.7. This is slightly bigger. So if you see Narra Residence compared to Dairy Farm Residence, I will say that in terms of the living space, Narra Residence obviously is bigger. The rest of the bedroom 2 and master bedroom, you are not compromising. It is about the same size as Dairy Farm Residence. So I think that in terms of the layout, I think you have lesser wasted space on Narra residence. But how about compared to Botany and Dairy Farm? I would say the main highlight that I can see here is that Botany and Dairy Farm, they have an enclosed kitchen, same as Narra residence. Dairy Farm residence is the only one that is having an open concept kitchen, and other than that, I would say the rest are quite similar compared to Narra or Botany and Dairy Farm. So the next one, I'm going to look at 2 plus study. They have 2 different types. One is 2 plus study with household shelter, the other one is without household shelter. Okay, if I were to look at the household shelter and without household shelter, if I were to compare, the living dining is 22 square meter and this is 24. So this one is obviously 2 square meter bigger. Kitchen is 4 square meter and 5 square meter. This one is 1 square meter bigger. Common bath is 4 square meter, 4 square meter, about the same. Master bath 5 and 5. Master bedroom 11 square meter, also about the same. Bedroom 2 also about the same. Balcony also about the same. The one that is without the household shelter, because both are the same size. So for these 2 layout is they remove the household shelter, they give you slightly bigger living space and kitchen. That's all. So that is where all the space goes to lah. So for these 2 layout, I think it's not bad. It really depends on whether you need a household shelter or not. If I were to compare the 2 bedroom plus study with Dairy Farm and Botany at Dairy Farm, if you look at the layout wise, for Narra residence, their living and dining is 22 square meter plus 4 square meter, so total I have 27, right? But for Dairy Farm residence, their kitchen and living is 26.2. So Narra residence have slightly bigger living and kitchen. Balcony space 5 square meter and 5.6. Dairy Farm residence is slightly bigger. Study 4.8 and 4 square meter. Dairy Farm slightly bigger. Master bath is 5 about the same. Master bedroom 11 and 11.8. This is 0.8 square meter differences. Bigger. Bedroom 2 9 and 8.8. This is bigger also. So if I look at the floor plan, I would say the Narra residence, because of the enclosed kitchen, the floor plan I feel is better than Dairy Farm already. But how about Botany? Botany also have very nice layout. They are 2 plus study, also giving you an enclosed kitchen also. But one thing that is not so good is that their study is actually outside their bedroom 2. So I would say that, unless you really want a bigger bedroom 2, if not, I would say most of them, they will keep it here lah. They will keep this as a study. If not, you'll convert this as a storeroom. So I would say that in terms of the placement of the study area, I would say Narra residence, in terms of the 2 plus study, they have a better layout in this aspect. So the next thing, we are going to go through 3 bedroom compact. 3 bedroom compact for Narra residence, they have 2 different types. Type C1 818 square feet and C2 872 square feet. The main differences is that if I look at the main door, kitchen wise, the same. Living is 25 square meter, this is 26, 1 square meter bigger. The balcony is 6 square meter, also about the same. Bedroom 2 is 8 square meter, this is 9, this is 1 square meter bigger. Bedroom 3 is also 8 square meter, this is 9 square meter, this is 1 square meter bigger. Master is 14, this is 13, this is 1 square meter bigger. Bathroom 2, 4 square meter, this is 4 square meter, same. Master bath 5 square meter, this is 5 square meter. The main differences is that for the other type of layout, 872 square feet, it comes with a flexi room. And actually, increasingly, I am seeing this type of layout, the 3 bedroom with flexi room, is getting more and more popular already in a lot of those new launches. I am seeing this, in other projects like Canberra Crescent, which I think that the developer is actually very nice. They actually give the buyer a choice to have this flexi room, which you can double up as a storeroom if you want. You can double up as a study, and so on. But one of the not so good one is that I'm seeing is that, this wall here is a structured wall. So which means that you cannot actually tear down this wall and make it a bigger dining. But I think is good enough. 872 square feet comes with a flexi room. My recommended layout, if let's say you're looking at a 3 bedroom compact, would be a 3 bedroom flexi, 872 square feet. So if I were to compare to Dairy Farm residence, I would say I won't go through again on the differences in size, but I would say that in terms of this layout, it's very clear that Narra residence has a very good layout because of this flexi room, where you don't get it in Dairy Farm residences. But how about Botany? Botany, if I were to zoom in, if you look at the layout wise, it's a traditional layout. You also don't get a flexi room, but in return you get a yacht. So I would say that for Narra residence, they are 3 bedroom flexi. They really have a very nice layout compared to the surrounding project. The next thing, I'm looking to look at 3 bedroom premium. So for 3 bedroom premium, they have many different types. So I'm going to elaborate a few differences. The type C3P, 1001 square feet, and C4P, 1012, right? The main differences that I can see here is very marginal. Both of the layout have very identical layout, except that the 1001, the main differences is really at the living room, right? This one has a slightly 1 square meter bigger in living space. The rest of the sizes are all the same. So I really cannot see the differences. So 1001 and 1012 is very identical. Okay, how about 1023 and 990 square feet. So for C5P and C6P, the main differences I can see there is that the living space is 36 square meter, the smaller 3-bedroom premium 990 square feet is 33 square meter. So the difference of 3 square meter. Balcony is the same size, kitchen same size, household shelter the same, bedroom 3 also the same, bedroom 2 also the same, master bedroom also the same, master bath also the same, bathroom 2 also the same. Then there's one powder room, also the same. So the difference of 3 square meter really go to the living space. So I would say that if let's say based on this aspect, I would say the 990 square feet is actually quite well designed because the main difference is really 3 square meter on the living space. The rest of the bedroom you will not be shortchanged. How about C7P and C8P, 1001 and 1023? The main differences I can see is really the layout already. You can see that C8P, 1023 square feet, you come in, it's a bit odd that you straight away you will see the dry kitchen area. Then they have an elongated living dining. The living dining is really big. It's 36 square meter compared to this one is 34. The balcony size also about the same. Bedroom 9914, 9914 also about the same. So the kitchen size also about the same. So for C7P and C8P, the main differences I can see it really goes to the living room. It's 34 square meter and 36 square meter. So for C8P, the moment you come in from the door, you are actually seeing your dry kitchen area first. Then is your living dining. I would say this layout also not bad. The rest of the sizes like balcony size, 66 is all the same. Bedroom 9914, 9914 also about the same. Master bath is 5. This is 5, bathroom 2 is 4, this is 4, household shelter 4 is 4, kitchen is 7, this is 7. So everything else is the same. It just depends on which layout you prefer. So I would say that C8P also not bad. My recommended layout I would say that is 1001 square feet layout. C7P, I think that the rest of the layout, the marginal difference in living space, I would say that it doesn't make too much of a difference lah. They don't really shortchange in terms of your common bedroom and master bedroom sizes. So how does this C7P compared to Dairy Farm? I think the very clear changes is that for Dairy Farm, they actually have a utility room 3.7, and in Narra Residence, we have a storeroom of 4 square meter. The kitchen wise, Narra Residence is also bigger compared to Dairy Farm. Narra also is also bigger. The living space, clearly you will feel more spacious when you walk into a Narra 3-bedroom premium layout, because it's 34 compared to Dairy Farm is 26.9. So this clearly makes a lot of difference really. The difference is almost 8 square meter. So next time, the rest of the bedroom, I will not talk about it because it's more or less the same. So which means that next time buyers who really go and view Dairy Farm Residence and go and feel Narra, you will feel that Narra feels a lot bigger. So in this floor plan, I would say Narra has a very good benefit in terms of their layout compared to Dairy Farm Residence. How about Botany? Botany 1033 square feet. I would say the layout is also quite similar. It's very similar also. I don't see much differences. They also come with a storeroom also. So Botany at Dairy Farm layout is as good as Narra Residence layout. So in my personal opinion, I would say the best layout is C7P if you were to ask me in terms of my recommendation. The next one, I'm going to go to a 3+ study. A 3+ study C9S, 1152 square feet and 1173 square feet. C9S, I would say that the main differences again goes to the living room, 37 square meter and 39 square meter. So this one is slightly bigger by 2 square meter. The rest, I don't see any differences in terms of the bedroom size, kitchen size and balcony size. My recommended layout is C9S for Narra Residence, 1152 square feet compared to Botany at Dairy Farm, because Dairy Farm Residences don't have a 3+ study. If I were to see these two layout wise, it is actually pretty similar. It's just that you can actually see that for Narra Residence, their study, you can actually see that this wall, you can actually break away and you can actually make it your walk-in wardrobe for Narra Residence. And then here, you can just build a door here. You can just build a door here, and seal off here, so that your master will be extremely big. Your master will be this whole area. It will be very, very big. So I think this type of benefit is something that we don't have in Botany at Dairy Farm. Because Botany at Dairy Farm, the study is located along the corridor and it's next to a bathroom too. So the study, you cannot do it the way that I propose for Narra Residence. So I think for 3+ study, I would say Narra Residence clearly has a very good edge in terms of their layout over Botany at Dairy Farm. The next one, I'm going to go for a 4-bedroom. So for a 4-bedroom layout, these two again very similar. It's just differences of the living space is 38 square meter and 41 square meter, and also the placement placement of the study area. It's just that for type D1, 1152 square feet is a 4-bedroom and it doesn't come with a study. But for type D2, 1378 square feet, it comes with a study, which means that you can have a bigger living and dining space. And this is the main differences. And also for type D2, they come with a junior master room, which is very nice. So it's very suitable for people who want to live in a multi-generation home together with their parents, right? Having a junior master is always nice to have, where the D1 type don't have a junior master. So this is the main differences. My top layout would obviously it will be a D2 1378 square feet compared to Dairy Farm Residences 1324 square feet. I would say that Dairy Farm Residences, their living and dining is very nice. They have a landscape living and dining, extremely nice, which we also can do that for Narra Residence. And one very big difference is that for Narra Residence, they have a junior master room, which Dairy Farm Residence, they don't really have. So next time, these two layout, in terms of the size, is very similar. But I think when it hit the resale market, Narra Residence, a lot of buyers, they will feel that, the layout is better than Dairy Farm Residence. How about Botany and Dairy Farm? Botany and Dairy Farm, we also have a landscape living and dining, which is also very nice. And again, they don't have a junior master room also. So next time, I can say that for Narra Residence, they are the only project and layout that comes with a junior master room, where the surrounding development, they do not have. Okay? And I think this clearly sets big differences compared to the rest of the neighboring layout. The next one, I'm going to talk about 5-bedder. It's quite rare to have a 5-bedder. So 5-bedder, they are extremely big. Their 5-bedder is 1658 square feet. They have two different types, 1658 square feet and 1679 square feet. And for their 5-bedder, it comes with a private lift. Only 5-bedder comes with a private lift. And the main differences, I would say that is really the living room only. 42 square meter and 44 square meter. And a bit on the kitchen area, 16 and 17 square meter. The rest of the bedroom size, this is 9 square meter, this is 9. It's all the same. And master, you have 20, this is 19. So this is slightly smaller. So I would say the floor plan is really very identical. Both are very good. Both are very good floor plan. But my pick is actually the 1658 square feet, because these two layout is very identical compared to Botany and Dairy Farm have 5-bedder. Dairy Farm Residences, the biggest is 4-bedroom only. So if I were to look at 1539 and 1658 square feet, I think it's very clear that Narra Residence has the biggest 5-bedroom in the whole area. Botany and Dairy Farm is 1539 square feet, also very good, also not bad. They also have a very big landscape living and dining, and they don't have a private lift. So this is the main differences between Narra Residence and Botany and Dairy Farm. Is that Narra Residence comes with a private lift. Their size is 100 square feet, approximately 100 square feet more than Botany and Dairy Farm. The bedroom size is very identical also. I can see that it shouldn't differ too much, and it comes with a junior master room for Botany and Dairy Farm, but Narra Residence also comes with a junior master. So I would say these two layout, next time when it hit the resale market, both are equally good, but just that for buyer who really want a huge 5-bedroom to live with their family, multi-generation family, Narra Residence, they will age a little bit, they will age a bit better in terms of their size, and if they want a private lift. So that's all for my video on Narra Residence. Okay, if you have any question, do scan this QR code and drop me a message, and then I can see how I can actually help you. Alright, see you in my next video.